to order. Please stand for a moment of silence and the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. The mission of Tyler County Schools is to provide student-centered learning opportunities that ensure all students will learn to their potential and master the skills, ethical behaviors, and attitudes needed to be successful citizens in the 21st century economy. The meeting is called to order, so now we will have the roll, which all board members are present for the meeting. So we'll move on to C, approval of the minutes of the November 4th regular meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Andy made the motion. Do I have a second? Scott seconded that. Is there any discussion on the minutes? If not, all those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, the minutes have been approved. In D, work session.
We don't have any work sessions.
Okay. I was gonna say, that's a shocker. I don't remember us having one tonight. Okay, then we'll move on to presentations. State cross-country qualifiers.
Yes, I would like to ask the cross-country coaches if they would come up and just talk a little bit about their season and a little bit about hard work these kids put in, and then maybe introduce them to the board, if you don't mind.
Okay. I didn't know I was going to be talking.
Well, yes. I just put you right on the spot.
Well, last year they almost qualified, and we qualified and then we didn't. So they worked hard in the off season, and that was definitely evident. They came back ready to work hard this season, and they were third at the regional, and they were 3 points away from second. And they took the top three, and then we also had two girl. That was for our boys' side, and then we had two girl qualifiers. We have Andy here tonight, so do you want him to come up here and stand as? So Andy was a qualifier, so.
Congratulations.
Lily was also, she wasn't at school today, so she's not here today. And then on the boys' side, we qualified as a team. This is the second team that we've had qualify. We had the same team qualify 2 years in a row, probably 5 or 6 years ago, and then we would have had, this would be our second team that qualified. So we have Amos, our state champion, on the single A.
Good job.
We've got Travis, and Travis was, let me get this right, 7th, and that was where Amos was last year. So we have Brody, who was 18th, and he was in the top 20. And John was a key part of our team here that helped us qualify for the state meet. So, and then we also had Trey Moore and Malachi that would have qualified as well. So. It takes a lot of hard work. We had a loaded region. In our region, I think in the top 10, there were 5 out of our region in the top 10, and probably close to 10 in the top 20, I would say. So, and then the other teams that didn't qualify probably should have qualified. So it was a loaded region, so they had to work really hard to get there. And Andy had to work hard to qualify individually. We even had a girl qualifier, or 2 girl qualifiers in a while, so that was a good job. Nice job, guys.
So just real quick, Amos, could you just give us a rundown of like what a day in the life of a state champion cross country is?
Oh, and I will say for him, that's the first champion we've ever had. That's the highest we've had. So yes.
Famous Amos, you
We've
can
had
do it.
several in the top 10, but he is the first champion we've had. So
We just want to know what a day in the life of a cross country runner is.
Start about when you wake up.
give him a rundown.
Seriously, every morning.
Wake up and walk. Then I go to school. Then I run after school.
How many miles a week do you think that you probably log?
Like 50.
How many?
50.
50?
Ask him how many he's got since January 1st.
How many have you had since January 1st?
2,500.
Ouch. And you probably run out back on
I ran here tonight.
Oh my goodness.
You guys worry
Runs a
about
new
your
market.
house. AC worries about shoes.
We buy a lot of
Shoes
shoes.
you go through.
We're proud of you and the coaches and all the team members.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for coming and
These kids work really hard.
Yeah, they do.
They're all dedicated.
Very evident.
So did the coaches run with you?
Is your dad?
Hear from the staff.
JC, why not?
why don't you guys come back up so you guys can get a picture with the board? I'm taking a picture, Miss.
I don't know, I think KC ran a lot at the meets.
Yeah, a shortened
You guys can come right here. Whatever you want to do.
And the boys were 5th overall at the state meet, so that's pretty good too. So
Good job, guys.
Just stand over to the side real quick, Gracie.
Okay, you guys
Kind of
ready?
walking, you got.
2,
Stand right there where you're.
right here. 3.
famous.
All right, thank you all again for
Yes,
coming in.
thank you.
Great job.
Congratulations.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Just was nice.
I'm gonna miss.
Someone has a cup.
It's probably.
Mindy's,
We didn't know if you needed us to.
you left your cup.
Thank you. Thanks again for having us.
You give a big hug to your 2 brothers, will you? Okay.
Well, there, everybody.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
I don't see you.
It's very much. Happy. Thank you very much. Well, you all love you, but.
Who does it?
How's your mom?
Good, she has her days. She's not, yes,
I keep asking about her, and I should go up and see her, and then
she's having some issues. Thanks for asking.
See you later. It's always good to see you.
Okay, so
I will see you.
Delegations?
Good night.
I will, thank you, and you people too, be careful going home. I saw 2 does coming out and a big, a 6-point buck, so.
Oh, yeah.
he's upset about it. So there are no delegations tonight. Communications,
Nothing under communications?
superintendent's report.
Under superintendent's report, each of you in front of you have the school closure impact statement. It's a very lengthy packet of information. I just wanted you all to have it this time, so you can take it home and read it, and it'll be something that we can discuss at the next board meeting. But this is the first step in looking at building this new consolidated elementary school. So we met as a county office group just to get this data together. It goes over things such as bus routes, what new bus routes would look like, the utilization of our current schools, how much of the schools we're actually using, demographics and trend data on enrollment and things like that. So it's a lot of information, and I just want you guys to have it to peruse through for the next couple weeks, and I didn't want it to be a surprise of any kind. But that's the first thing we turn into the State Department to move forward with what we're doing. I don't know if you guys have watched any of the closure hearings elsewhere, but a lot of times the superintendent will read part of this as their opening statement at the hearing. So that's kind of what we'll do there. So that's what I have.
I'm a little confused, and I just have a question about the board meeting on January 6th.
Okay.
When is the first meeting where the public is invited, where we talked about having it off of site?
Yes, that's the first one, I believe.
January 6th.
Yes.
But that's not when we vote to close a specific school.
No. We vote after you have the hearings. So you will have that hearing, then we would have the hearing on Sistersville Elementary or Bourne, whichever one it is, and then we would vote after that.
Okay.
So we are having the meetings at the schools, right?
We are having the meetings at Tyler Consolidated High School in the auditorium. That way it's large enough in case there's any issues.
So January 6th is AIB, the 21st would be the Citrusville.
Yeah. Yep.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry. I've been in days. All right, let me change pages here. Any committee reports?
Just, I did stop in at the Middleburn Library to see if there's anything we needed to know. And she said they're updating the bylaws and they're moving their CDs from the bank to the credit union because the time was up on that. So,
And I listened to a Zoom meeting
Did ya?
with the extension office. It really wasn't a meeting, because there wasn't enough of them to have an actual
Quorum.
meeting. So they really couldn't vote on anything, or mainly the guy from the extension office in Morgantown talked about, they're wanting to hire another person here in Middleburn office. And he's very enthused because everybody else is cutting, and they're wanting to add two. And he talked about how the Board of Education would have to help fund for the extra person. But, I mean, they asked if we had any concerns. I said, no, I got no concerns, and put it back on you. At my first meeting with them, I mean, technically, I'm not gonna say,
Right.
I'm not gonna say anything, I'm just gonna sit back.
The-
I'm just watching and listening to them, but, it wasn't much, like I said, it wasn't much of a meeting, cause I only talked about basically hiring that person up there, so.
so do we already help pay for the
We do.
one we do
We
have?
pay,
And that is,
Mrs. Bull.
do we all pay for her, or is it?
we pay
So much money.
like $30,000 or $40,000 that we give
Yeah,
them.
we just get, I don't know, they use
I
it for
forget how
salary,
much
I don't
it is.
remember if it's for her.
That's
or
the
if
same thing as
Oh, okay.
libraries that we.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was thinking 45.
I think- I know we
it
upped
was
it.
something like that.
So,
But that guy from the extension office or the board will have to help.
In multi, and correct me, Mr. Riley, I think we got 64 students attending down there?
correct.
The Sistersville, library meeting was canceled, so, I didn't attend it. Okay, project updates.
Under project updates, they're getting ready to bring the crane in to set the steel on the roof. Once they have the steel on the roof of the addition, then they'll be able to open up some of that back lot for parking before basketball games start. So that's the plan there. Locker rooms are complete inside the building. The restrooms are complete inside the building. The gym is now open and operational. We're utilizing the whole gym now, and all the terrazzo flooring is done in the main school, which it's been done for a bit. But they're working now, starting to work on the interior of the new addition. All block work is done. It's all to where it needs to be height wise, and like I said, they'll start putting the steel on the roof this week as soon as the crane's mobilized and brought in here. So that's where we're at there.
Okay, any other questions on any projects? Okay, then, we'll move to staff reports,
Nothing under staff reports.
financials,
Nothing under finance.
policy reviews.
Nothing this time. I did meet with, speaking of policy, I did meet with Neola this week about kicking off their revising our policy manuals through Neola. So we're going to start that process. Me and I don't know if you know Blaine Hess. He was superintendent in Jackson County for many years. He also judges band competitions, so you may have heard him in that round. But he's the one who works for Neola now, and he's the one who's going to be helping us but make our policies fit into the Neola frameworks. And so I had a short training, I think it was Thursday or Friday of this last week to start that process.
Did you say how long the length of time?
He's saying,
Cover everything?
he says his goal is 6 months because he's done it now. In the past, it was a year or so, but he's done it now a
I
couple
thought they
times.
told us earlier was a year, so that's good.
Yeah, he said he feels comfortable now doing it, so he's hoping that within 6 months. I had to send him some stuff that day, like our county office administrators and what they do. So if he has questions about policies that pertain to them, he'll just reach out to them directly to talk to them about it. So what'll happen is then the other thing is with that, he's going to work on like he calls them like fast track policies, like ones that he wants to make sure that we're up to date on, like our Title IX policy and some of those policies that will get you if you're not up to date, which I feel like we are with Title IX, because we just redid that one maybe last year or earlier the year before. But he just wants to make sure all those are in place and correct, so if there's any issues that we won't get stuck there. So.
Any questions about any policies? Okay, then let's move on to athletic schedules.
Nothing under athletic schedules.
Okay, approval of requests.
Quite a few request trips there for you all to look at. Got the Coachman's Club there a couple times, going to read at the elementary schools. A couple for our special needs room to take those kids maybe to see Santa Claus, I think mainly, and ride the train, which will be nice. And then you know, I'm not going to read all those for you, but it's field trips and that's about it. I ask for approval of all those. Make the motion.
I'll second it.
Does anybody have any questions about any of the requests? Okay, then all those in favor of approving the trip request, say aye.
All right.
Aye. Opposed?
That is correct on O.
Huh?
That is the parents taking that, correct? I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Oh, yes, on,
I'm sorry, I meant.
that's okay. On O, is that the one we're talking about?
Yeah.
O is the parents will be transporting,
Right.
not the bus. Okay, then, did we vote on that?
Yes.
Okay. Other requests.
Just one other request there. Mr. Martin is requesting permission, Citrusville Elks Club, to use the Tyler Consolidated Middle School gym for the Elks Hoop Shootout January 12th. And that would be from about 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. And Heidi Hubbard has agreed to oversee the event. She's a board employee. So.
Make the motion.
Okay, Larry made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay, all those in favor of allowing that request, say aye.
All right.
Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. Okay, personnel.
Under personnel, one resignation. Robert Shamlin resigns from his position as general music teacher and assistant band director at Tyler Consolidated High School, effective November 7th, 2024.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept that resignation?
Motion.
Larry made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Andy seconded that. Any questions about that resignation? Okay, then all those in favor of accepting Mr. Shamlin's resignation, say aye.
All right.
Aye. Opposed?
There was no, what's the next before here?
No resignations before publication, or after publication, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Okay, so that motion carried. Okay, so now we will move on to employments, transfers, and rescissions.
Employee Sarah J. Smith is the head cheer coach at Tyler Consolidated Middle School. As you know, she was the assistant previously. And then employee Kelly Schultes, Zach Wilhoit, and Casey Gowdy to be added to the pool of teachers available to cover classes during lunch and plan. And I would ask for approval of both of those.
Diana made the motion to approve those. Do I have a second?
Second.
Scott seconded that. Does anybody have any questions about those two employments? Okay, then all those in favor of those two employments, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Nothing under other personnel?
No.
Let's do a good executive session, please, on personnel.
All right, do I have, Andy made a motion to go into executive session. Do I have a second?
Second.
Scott seconded that. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we will go into executive session at 7:20. Thank you. Okay, so we are we said there was no other personnel.
Correct.
Okay, so we are at Q and we are doing, payment of the bills. Do I have a motion to pay the bills?
Should pay them.
Scott says to pay the bills. Do I have a second?
I got a second.
Andy seconded that. Does anybody have any question about the bills? If not, all those in favor of paying the bills, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. We will pay the bills. Mrs.
Buyers, yeah. I would like to ask the board if I could please go back to superintendent's updates and
Oh.
address the board on the SSAC thing.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Sorry,
That's okay.
it's been a long day.
It
I,
has been.
I gave you guys a handout. I went down through the timeline of events for the SSAC and classification of Tyler Consolidated High School. This all started back on January 29th when we, Tyler Consolidated High School, made their formal appeal to the SSAC and West Virginia State Department of Education when the new athletic classifications were put out. So that was how you would do an appeal previously with anything you did with the SSAC. You sent it to the SSAC and you sent it to the State Department. Well, on January 30th, after many people had talked about appeals, they came out with pretty much just a one-page appeal process, which Mr. Morris filled out and was submitted on the 30th for Tyler Consolidated High School in the SSAC's appeal. Fast forward to April 26th, Tyler County, Tyler Consolidated and Tyler County, Pleasant County, St. Mary's High School filed an injunction in Kanawha County because we had not heard anything about our appeal. So an injunction was filed in Kanawha County because that's how you were supposed to do it. That's where the SSAC and the State Department deal with all injunctions. It wasn't at a local county courthouse like other thing that, like, as we move forward, you'll see happen. Our original hearing was on May 15th, in which Mr. Morris did attend. All the appeals on that day were reviewed by the board of directors, and all appeals were denied. Rubber stamped, move on, nothing's happening. So after that, after our appeal was denied, we filed again, which a lot of schools did, and the Board of Reviews would then hear our case. So in July 23rd, 2024, the Board of Reviews heard our case in Charleston. The Board of Reviews is put together, it's an outside group of individuals who are not associated completely with the SSAC. It was a superintendent, a couple superintendents from other counties, a couple attorneys, just different folks that had knowledge of the SSAC and classification in sports, but not directly affiliated with the SSAC in any way. On August 12th, the Board of Reviews granted our appeal along with 11 other schools that filed against the new classification systems. This appeal was won based on the SSAC's lack of transparency in classification and inability to create a competitive balance of these schools in football. So they just ruled in football on August 12th to move those 12 schools down. But the other thing that was said, and this is taken straight out of the paperwork from the Board of Reviews, it says the Board of Reviews believes the wiser course of action is to grant waivers and resulting revisions to the class membership for the 2024 football season only, and remand the 11 cases to the Board of Directors for further consideration of requests for waivers and include further investigation and deliberation into the entire classification model, scored and proper classifications for all schools, for all sports, for 2024 through 2027, and football, because they'd already ruled on football, 25 through 27. The Board of Directors never informed schools of any deliberation or investigation of these decisions. So they did not go back and look like the Board of Reviews told them to do. They did not go back and say, what are we going to do with these other sports? So we move ahead to the 13th. Our attorney suggested to the SSAC that we should consider going ahead and changing all sports for 24-25 for those 11 schools that changed classifications based on the Board of Review's ruling. We never heard anything back from the WVSSAC on that matter. So in that time, I was in communication with our attorney maybe once a week, just saying, hey, have you heard anything about changing the other sports into the other classifications? No, nothing. So, and the injunction we filed in earlier in the year, which was in April, was not moving in Kanawha County. So we asked that it be removed in Kanawha County so that we could then do it in our region at the Tyler County Circuit Court. So that was October 13th. And for me, I think that just as a next explanation, if you, as a superintendent, when you change something based on competitive balance and what's fair for a male-driven sport as far as football, I don't know how you can't change it for all other sports, female sports.
I said the same thing. I don't know how they don't have a dozen lawsuits.
Well, so I know that
55, I should say, probably.
I guess for this, what I'm saying is, yes, there is a cost that's involved with this as far as our costs and filing injunctions as a county. But I can tell you a Title IX investigation that I feel would come from this for the county, for the SSAC, we would be involved in that, and we would have legal fees in that also. Title IX cases can last years and years and years and cost hundreds of thousands of dollars for a county. I was part of an investigation, not me personally, but when I was in Wetzel County, there was a Title IX investigation that went on with soccer. It lasted for years and years and years, and it cost lots of money. So I feel like, yes, we are spending some money in these injunctions, but I'm thinking in the long run, girls deserve the same things as boys do. I mean, that's the bottom line. And I don't know why we're in 2024 we're even having this discussion, but that's just my personal opinion. So I did. Mr. Thomas had asked that I get the legal fees that we have accrued so far. Mr. Saluja's billing department is sending it, but I'll make sure if I don't have it soon, I'll make sure you guys get it. I don't mind making that public information. I will tell you that I feel like our stance should be we should try to recoup that money from the WVSSAC after this is all over. I don't know what that will entail. I don't know what that looks like. But I just feel like we shouldn't have to fight so hard for equal rights for our female athletes and our male athletes.
Well, I'll say this. I told somebody this the other day, and they kind of asked the same thing. You know, why are these counties, fighting so hard, resisting this and doing that? And I said, and I told them, I said, I don't know what everybody's thought process was in the beginning. I kind of know, but I do want to, thank you personally and whoever you've been working with with St. Mary's, because had this not happened now, it was going to happen at some point.
What?
This mess was going to, and it was never going to be any smaller of a mess than it is right now. So we're going to be in the mix with this at some point, whether it was this year, this fall, this winter, this spring, next summer, 2 years from now, whatever. It was just going to fester and eventually, because, and the reason I say that is because they didn't have a formula. And I said that all along. They wouldn't disclose the formula because they didn't have one.
Exactly.
So if you don't have a formula, that's what I mean, why this was never, something was gonna give at some point. You know, and as with a lot of things, there's a lot of people probably gonna be looking our direction for help or to be the tip of the spear, you know, as we are for a lot of things that are just educationally speaking, you know. So,
Well, they're saying-
Mr. Hiley, I thank you for doing this, and I know it was a lot of extra stuff you had to do, you know. Me having a senior football player is rough, but, you know, again, I would rather be proactive with this and get this, you know, get this out there, because it wasn't gonna get any better. And at some point, we just had to rip the Band-Aid off and get this fixed, because it was not gonna fix itself.
It really is a question of, you know, fairness in Title IX, quite frankly, too.
For sure.
I mean, to me, I just don't see how you can justify, you know, what they've done, and you know, I think that us getting involved for that reason is a good reason. It shows our kids that we think everybody deserves a fair chance, and
There were 22 or 24 others, including us,
Right.
total.
Well, they're saying that our girls never played a tournament in single A, but didn't we play one in double A?
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and go through the rest of this so you guys can. So then moving forward, on October 13th, Tyler Consolidated and St. Mary's High School filed an injunction in Tyler and Pleasants counties the same exact day. The only thing that was different was their judge heard theirs earlier than our judge did. I mean, it was the same exact day.
That's what I couldn't understand.
Yeah. Same exact day, just he heard it different days. The judge in Pleasants County ruled quicker than our judge did, and that's not the any control of the school system or myself or our attorneys. That's just, I mean, I've learned a lot over these last few months, and one of them is judges do judges, and they stay in their lane, they do theirs, and I thought I'll stay in mine and do mine. So. That's where we're at. So then we fast forward. Our girls went to in volleyball. We played at home. We played Wheeling Central in a double A sectional game. Won that game. The next day, 2 days later, on the 30th, we were scheduled to go to Oak Glen to play in a matchup. That is when the injunction was passed down from Judge Wilson. Our girls were getting ready to get on the bus. So. I know there's a lot of talk out there on social media and things like that about us trying to duck Oak Glen. Our girls were getting on the bus to go play them. We weren't trying to duck anyone with this injunction. We were just trying to do what was fair. So that's that. So so then at that point we didn't go to Oak Glen. The SSAC came up with, well, then you guys will go play St. Mary's. So on November 2nd, as you can see in here, on a Saturday, we went to St. Mary's to play St. Mary's in a regional game in which St. Mary's advertised as a regional single A volleyball game. And so we went to St. Mary's. We beat St. Mary's. On November 4th, Trinity Christian School filed an injunction in the Mon County Circuit Court saying that they should play St. Mary's, even though Tyler Consolidated just beat St. Mary's 2 days prior. So then the SSAC decided that St. Mary's would play in a regional matchup on, where they would go ahead and go play in that regional matchup, leaving us out for nothing. So after that, we had a short meeting after that with the SSAC. I will tell you that I feel like on November 4th at this meeting that we had, we made a suggestion to the SSAC, which is what they kind of ended up doing with a 9-team tournament, and we thought was good and fair. A couple of their SSAC administrators did not think that they were very unprofessional when we made that suggestion, and a little bit belittling, and I thought it was very unprofessional on the SSAC's part to do so. On November 4th, moving forward, we did go ahead and file our injunction for the rest of the winter sports and the spring sports because we felt like we had to do so for our other girls sports in the fall. We should probably go ahead and do that now, so it's early, so we're not backed up against sectional play or regional play when the judge decides that. On November 8th, after the SSAC had put out the A volleyball brackets for the upcoming state tournament, East Hardy filed an injunction against the SSAC stating that Tyler Consolidated should be removed from the state tournament because they did not play a regional or sectional game to get into the state tournament. In turn, the SSAC decided then to postpone the volleyball tournament indefinitely. I have some other notes down there, and I feel like you guys can look at those. Again, the November 2nd game was advertised as a regional game, and what I feel, and maybe I'm a little biased because I want to take care of our kids in Tyler County. Our injunction was not filed against any other school, but I feel like even though all these injunctions that have been made against the SSAC, it is targeting Tyler Consolidated High School. Their injunction is targeting us. We weren't targeting any other school in our injunction. We just wanted to be classified the same as our boys were in football, and that's what it was from the beginning. And the rest of these injunctions have been in order for us to not be playing or be a part of the tournament. So it says so. They had a meeting today, a short meeting with the SSAC and all the coaches. I think moving forward, they're looking at maybe the week after Thanksgiving to have the single A tournament at West Virginia State University. But now we've left it in the hands of the Supreme Court because now the SSAC has conflicting rulings from 2 circuit courts in 2 separate counties about whether or not the one in Hardy County saying that they wanted us removed, and the one in Tyler County saying we should be part of single A. So now they have conflicting cases or injunctions against each other, and so the SSAC has now moved it on to the Supreme Court along the same thing they've done with football. So I just felt like we're catching a lot of flack as a school system, maybe out in the public and out in the other parts of the state. I thought it was important that we get this out there just for our sake and for our kids. I will tell you that it was very eye-opening. We had 8 girls who got up at 3:30 in the morning and traveled to Hardy County and sat in the courthouse while this judge, while Hardy County, had their hearing on the injunction. It was very good for those girls because I think they were able to see that this has nothing to do with them. And that is the sad part in all this, is that it's affecting student athletes. Not only affecting them on the playing field, but it's mentally affecting their mental health, and that's not good. So we hope that we get to continue to play. We hope they get the football issue fixed, and we hope that we get to go play volleyball in a week or so. And then moving forward, I hope that we can just go back to, in sports classifications, just enrollment. We don't have to have a formula or all these different factors. Just go back to enrollment. That's the easiest way.
Or if you say you have a formula, just
Have a formula.
Have a formula.
Yeah, put one on paper.
So, I just wanted you all to have this. So, I'm sure you're going to get questions, and you probably have gotten questions out in public. Are we spending money to do this? But yes, we are spending money, and I'll make sure that you all have what that total amount is. And again, I plan on, if it's legal and possible, to go right back at the SSAC for those funds that we've had to use to fight what should have been taken care of months ago. So, thank you for that. Yep.
Okay, so we moved back, and now we are on, letter R, request for agenda items for the next board meeting. Does anybody have any requests for the agenda?
I do not.
Okay, if you do, just get in touch with Stacy or Mr. Hiley and they can add those to the agenda for the next meeting. Okay, the next meeting will be held on Monday, December the 2nd at 7 o'clock. It will be here. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion.
Andy made the motion to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Scott seconded that. All those in favor? Aye.
All right.
And this meeting is officially adjourned at 8:03.
We are multi-meeting.